I got to tell you, folks, this is a fun time to be in Las Vegas. We got a lot of stuff going on. I just went to the Raiders game on Sunday. Sadly, this is in the middle of a pandemic, right? So fans will not get a chance to be able to watch some great PGA Tour action in Las Vegas. But I'll tell you what, this is one of the best fields they have ever had. The tournament starts Thursday. We've already started tournament week. And the guy we have with us on the line right now, always love it when he comes on. He's done such a great job as the tournament director of the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open, is Patrick Lindsay. Patrick, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Absolutely. Always love being on with you guys.
So I would imagine you've already been on the course already. How's the course looking right now?
It looks great. Just really proud of how it looks out there. The course looks great. We've got the branding placed in the right positions to make sure we're maximizing the broadcast, and we've got just a great group of guys out here competing for the champion. So it's going to be a great week.
So Patrick, I want to talk to you about one of the groupings, which is really exciting, and I can't wait to go out there and check these guys out. You have three of the longest hitters in the world right here at the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open, not just in the field, but in the same group, right? You got Bryson DeChambeau, last year's winner. You've got Matt Wolff, who made a run at the U.S. Open, as you know, great young talent, and Cameron Champ. These are guys that just pound the golf ball. My understanding is all three of them never played with one another. Talk to me a little bit about this because it's exciting.
It's going to be fun to watch. There's no doubt about that. How many greens are in jeopardy of being driven and eagle putts
right.
is our question. So it's just going to be really exciting to watch. I mean, but some of the other featured pairings too. You got one with Sergio, and you got another one with Jason Day as well, and Colin Morikawa and Ricky. I mean, the field's stacked. Just thrilled. I think we've got 95 or so of the top 125
wow.
FedEx Cup of last season. So, arguably one of the strongest fields we've ever had. And, a lot of these guys are staying for 2 weeks, too. So,
yeah, and you got guys that have never played here before, right? Like a guy like a Paul Casey, who's a phenomenal player. I think he's one of the best players in the world that's never won a major. You got? Can you talk a little bit about some of those guys that are playing this week?
Yeah, it's great to see them. We've wanted to get Paul out here for the last couple of years, and he committed to come playing this year. Sergio Garcia, another guy, and Jason Day, all guys that we've kind of all. We've always wanted to come play and just never kind of fit into their schedule. And they're here this year. Unfortunately, we can't have fans, but if we can get everyone to watch that broadcast and donate and bid on some items in our silent auction, then it's still going to be a really successful week for us.
And no question, and the better players that you have in this field, the more money you're going to raise for this charity, and it's so important. Right. Can you go into this as the tournament director? All the hard work that I don't think people understand that you and your staff put in to try to develop relationships with the agents, to try to develop relationships with these players like a Jason Day. I know you told me a few years ago you had a great conversation with Jason Day at another tournament, and he promised you he would eventually get out there. I personally believe if you don't do that, if you're not having these conversations, a guy like a Jason Day probably isn't playing in the Shriners this year.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. We made quite the commitment about 4 years ago to make sure that player recruiting was the top priority because we feel like that ultimately getting those guys here and playing on this golf course, they end up playing for the cause. That gets the community excited, it gets viewers on the broadcast and all that. But we got to be out there. We got to make ourselves seen and known that we want them to come. But think about, just this city and the weather that we have. It's not that hard of an ask, especially when you tie in the charity piece and all the work Shriners does for the kids. It's not that big of an ask to get these guys to come to Las Vegas and play for a great cause. So,
sure.
It's not easy, but, other people have harder times with it because they don't have all the same boxes checked that we do. We got great weather, we got a great golf course, we got a great city, we got a great cause.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's easy to get these guys it's easy, I should say, to strike up a conversation about why they should play the event.
No question.
It's worked out well.
No, it absolutely has. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Patrick Lindsay, tournament director, Shriners Hospital for Children's Open. The tournament week has started, and the actual competition starts Thursday and ends on Sunday. It'll be on the Golf Channel. Certainly check that out. So I saw a video that the PGA Tour put out yesterday. Ricky Fowler was hitting balls yesterday in shorts with one of his swing coaches. I thought that was kind of cool to see him out there early. I would imagine most of the guys are going to be playing practice rounds today and tomorrow, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah, I'm actually standing on the driving range right now, and I'm looking at probably 25, 30 guys out here on the driving range, and there's probably 50 guys out on the golf course getting a practice range in. So a lot of guys are out here now. Yesterday was pretty quiet, kind of a travel day, guys coming in, but looks like everybody is here now. So definitely the buzz and the excitement is starting to raise a little bit here on site.
Speaking of buzz, how big is it for you guys to have the last two major winners? Of course, Bryson DeChambeau won the U.S. Open, and he won the Shriners last year. And by the way, it was last year at the press conference when he said he was going to transcend his body a little bit. He said that at the Shriners. And then you have Colin Morikawa, who is such a great kid. He also lives here in Las Vegas. The last two winners of majors, the PGA and of course the U.S. Open. This is huge for this tournament and what you guys have moving forward.
Yep. Yeah, and we got such a good relationship with Bryson being a past champion from 2 years ago, and all of our past champions, like the last 4 years, have been great. And you throw in a Webb Simpson, which was six or 7 years ago when he won. It just kind of helped establish this great base. But Vegas and live here. There's an article this morning on PGAtour.com that said Xander Schauffele was looking at moving to Las Vegas. And all of a sudden, just, again, the weather, the quality golf courses,
right,
us being a tax-free state, all of a sudden all these things come together and you're like, wow, Vegas is a great place to live if you're a PGA Tour player.
I just heard a story I read online that Xander Schauffele is considering moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You have all these PGA players that are flocking here. Quickly, Patrick, can you talk a little bit? Well, not quickly. Take your time. Can you talk? I don't know why I said quickly. We got plenty of time. Can you talk a little bit about some of the UNLV and local guys? I know Charlie Hoffman is a huge part of this event, and he's done so many great things for charity in this city. Just talk about some of the local guys that are flocking to the tournament this year.
Yeah, it's really nice to see our local guys, really commit to not just just playing, but they've committed to the charity as well. Charlie's been a huge supporter of Shriners over the last few years. Maverick McNeely, who lives here in Las Vegas,
good player,
is in the field this year, and he's actually donated some apparel to some of our Shriner standard bearers that would have been on site this year who cannot now. So they're not getting a nice little package from Under Armour this year, compliments of Under Armour and Maverick McNeely.
That's great.
So he's really kind of helped contribute to the cause. Unfortunately, Ryan Moore had to withdraw. He's got a little bit of a back issue, so he won't be here. But we're just well represented in the city, and it's just nice to see these guys come out here and play and represent the city, represent the community, and the
sure. I guess this. I want to give you an opportunity to plug ways that people can get involved and donate money. Before I do that, I have to ask you this question. I mean, obviously, some certain members of the media are fortunate enough, to be out there and watch it. But how weird is it going to be, Patrick? You've been around the game of golf for a long time. Like you said, 95 of the top 125 FedEx Cup in the last. That's unbelievable. How disappointing is it? And it really does kind of suck, for lack of a better term. You're going to be out there on the golf course. Like I mentioned, this group, I'm going to watch them for 18 holes. DeChambeau, Wolf, and Champ. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to watch three of those guys play. How much does it? I mean, can you think? Do you think to yourself, Patrick, man, what if the fans could have been here? How many people would have been following that group? I would say minimum 1,000.
Well, there's no doubt in that pairing alone with Champ, Wolf, and DeChambeau. And nothing against Champ, but you've probably got two of the most interesting guys in golf right now.
Agree.
With Matt Wolff and Matthew Wolff, who has a very unique swing.
Yes, yes,
an incredible golfer and a very unique swing. And then Bryson, who's probably the most interesting man in golf right now.
Right.
Teaming it up together and playing 2 full rounds. Right, because it's Thursday and Friday.
Sure.
Together out there teeing it up, and it is disappointing not having fans, and what's happened with the pandemic, and it's not just us that are affected by it, and we're not the only event that can't have fans, so we're just trying to make the best of it. One kind of silver lining to it can be the people who have come on site. We try to tell stories the best we can to the spectators, but the broadcast is supposed to be filled with stories about the charity too.
Sure.
Along with stories about the players, so maybe they'll get to know some of these things a little bit better. They'll get to know the stories of our patients a little bit better. Maybe come with come away with just as good of an understanding about what we're trying to do as they would being on site. But I am definitely going to miss the roars that we've had over the last few years and the last 3 holes. I'm going to miss seeing people come off the bus and go through the security line and all of that. But we're just trying to make the best of it, just like everybody else.
Sure.
We're going to have a successful event. We're going to get the word out about Shriners.
It's successful every year, and it's been more successful since you took over. No question about that. Final question for you. I want to give you an opportunity to tell people how they can get involved, how they could donate. You talked a little bit about the auction. Can you give a little information on that stuff so people can get involved?
Yep, absolutely. So, first of all, you just go to our website, ShrinersHospitalsOpen.com. There'll be information about the tournament. There'll be ways to donate. There'll also be a link on that website. And also, all of our social channels. Shriners Open is the username for the majority of our social channels. Information all over that about how you can donate and how you can be a part of the silent auction.
Mm-hmm.
Silent auction has some great things on there. So there are signed pin flags. There are some honorary observer positions out there as well. So if somebody does want to come out and walk 18 holes and basically be the only person within a group not walking
right.
holes, those are available to be purchased online.
Oh wow, that's great.
Vacations, compliments of some of our partner properties here in town. So there's a ton of good stuff.
What's the price for that? Well, I'm just curious. Like, that's a pretty unique opportunity once in a while. I would imagine it's got to be thousands of dollars. So if I wanted to go out there, if I'm just a listener now, and I wanted to spend money to watch Bryson DeChambeau and Cameron Champ and Wolf out there, I'll be the only person out there. What would you charge for something like that? That's an incredible thing.
So it's $2,000 for 2 people.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
And walk the golf course.
That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're telling me only 1,000? I mean, people spend $20,000 to watch a UFC fight that lasts 2 minutes. So I mean, I think that's a bargain, Patrick. Yep. Well, listen, every time you come on, Patrick, I always say this, and I think it's important to say it again. You guys, you have done such a phenomenal job with this tournament. It is incredible over the years, the hard work that you and your team have put in, and the field you have this week is second to none. So I want to congratulate you on that. I have no doubt you guys are going to do some great things this week, raise a lot of money, and save some lives. So, Patrick, look forward to seeing you out there at the tournament this week. Thank you so much for joining us again, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys. Talk
Thank
to you
you.
later.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks a lot, Patrick.
That's Patrick Lindsay, the Shriners Tournament Director, and I got to tell you, man, I'm really happy for him. This man works so hard. By the way, JD, I know the guy that you always like to bet on, Xander Schauffele. Is that his name? I always pronounce his name wrong.
Xander Schauffele, yeah.
Schauffele. I read an article. He's moving to Las Vegas.
Probably my favorite golfer.
He's moving,
and I think that's great that he's moving here. But I think he's going to win a major.
Listen to
at
why.
Some point soon.
I agree. Eventually, I just don't know if he's ready yet. That's all.
Yeah.
But I will say this, JD. There's a reason why a lot of these players are moving to Las Vegas. There's a couple reasons. First of all, the weather's good, but it's not too good, right? You have to deal with the elements of the hot and the wind and all that stuff. So that's one reason.
So you think it makes their game better?
Absolutely.
Practicing here?
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. And I read an article about why Xander and a lot of these guys want to, because it's good, but it's not too good, right? Number 2, taxes. I mean, they're all talking about talking about taxes. And there's great golf courses here. It's great golf here. There's great golf courses here, right?
And even what would be considered the lower grade golf courses like Rhodes Ranch, even that is a beautiful golf course.
That's a good deal, yeah.
I mean, there are some amazing holes on that course, and that's not even considered a top 10 course in Vegas.
It's different. Yes, I agree. It's different from where I grew up, East Coast. I think golf courses are more difficult on the East Coast. Here, it's a different style of golf. But there, TPC, we played there last year, right, with your dad. That's a beautiful, beautiful golf course. Easy. It's probably the easiest golf course that these guys will play all year. I think last year was like 20 under. It was Patrick Cantley and Kevin Na in a playoff. I don't know why or how Patrick Cantley always seems to play well here every year. Kevin Na is another one. But it just sucks, though, that fans aren't allowed to watch that group. I mean, imagine. DeChambeau hits the ball like 400 yards. Matt Wolf just destroys the golf ball, and Cameron Champ compresses a golf ball. I watched him play at the Shriners last year like I've never seen before. It's just, these guys are unhuman, right? I mean, it's insane. And DeChambeau swings very, very hard. But they're fun to watch, but it's not going to come down to that. It comes down to short game and making putts. So anyway, appreciate Patrick coming on, and whoever wins this tournament on Sunday, we'll try to get them on next week. And great things that they're doing for Shriners and saving lives for kids. So